Okay, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so good evening, dear Toastmasters. I don't think we have guests today, so I'm not saying Toastmasters and guests. I am Toastmaster Ali Al-Sawad, your Sergeant at Arms. I welcome you again to our fourth meeting, is it, Mr. President?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the fourth
So,
meeting.
yep. So as we are meeting virtually in our homes, so I don't need to show you where is the exit. All you guys need to know where is your washrooms and you know where is the leave meeting button. Just a bit of housekeeping. Just ensure that all the mobile phones are away and make sure that you put yourself on mute when you are not speaking. I just want to remind us of Toastmaster core values, which are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And we wish to maintain all these core values across all our meetings. The mission of Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment where everyone have the space to speak and develop their personal skills and grow. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy as I give over to Mr. President, Mr. Hisham Jeffrey, to take over this meeting. Over to you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Ali. Big hand for our Sergeant at Arms. Thank you very much for that warm and wonderful introduction. Meeting number 4 is called to order. So welcome, everybody. It's really nice to have all of you here. I believe we may be having a guest. Mr. Jafar, how are you? Welcome to... Can you hear us? We're still connecting. I do have one apology that was recorded from our Vice President Public Relations. She is unable to attend today, but she has sent in her report, which I will read during our business session. Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Aisha, any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the final agenda. Yes, no changes to the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Would someone please propose to adopt the agenda?
I propose to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aman. Would someone second that proposal?
I second that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Ali. The agenda is adopted with no change, and that's what we will follow going forward. Today is a special day because 31 years ago, on a day very much like today, someone invaded someone else. The nation of Kuwait was invaded today, giving rise to some of the most enduring images of some of our childhoods. Way back in 1990, when I woke up, I remember on the national news services, what was being displayed was a never-ending plume of black smoke that was coming, I heard, from an oil well. And that image, even 3 decades later, is embedded in my head. On the 2nd of August, 1990, that invasion took place, and it forms one of the cornerstone memories of my childhood. And the reason that I mention this is because conflict is a part of everything that we experience. There can be a conflict, person versus person, person versus the world, person versus environment, person versus technology, and that great conflict of all, person versus the inner person. And the seed of many of these conflicts, many a time, tends to be lack of communication or miscommunication. Our founding father, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, says, understanding comes through communication, and through communication, we find the way to peace. And that I find a beautiful sentiment echoed by our founding father almost 90 years ago. We meet in this platform so that we learn to speak and to lead and to achieve our purpose as human beings, which is to leave an impact, to leave a legacy, and to leave this world a better place than we came into. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome to meeting number 4. That brings us to our business session. And as we are still in the infancy, our reports will tend to be a little on the brief side, but in the spirit of maintaining our agenda, let us go through each of the officers' reports. It gives me great pleasure to ask our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Ali, anything to report from your side, sir?
Mr. President, as we are meeting virtually and there is nothing that I can report as of now, but I would like to say that today I am doing 2 roles, which is Sergeant at Arms and AH Counter, which is a really good pleasure to me. So that's the report from my side.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali. I'm sure you will have a tremendously fun evening. And another statement that comes from our founding father is, a Toastmaster wears many hats. So very soon you will find people like DTM Khalid, who is not a Toastmaster, he's a hat track because he's wearing constantly many hats. But I'm sure that multitasking will be a great skill that you will have. Let me now ask our secretary, Toastmaster Minam, anything to report from your side, sir?
No, there is nothing to report from my side. I will be performing the role of timer today.
Amazing. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure that we will see a tremendously good performance from you as well. In the time to come, we will also start recording the minutes of the meeting. We can take that from our video recordings. And as we go along, we will also establish a principle where we can look at the Toastmaster of the Year points as well. So thank you for that. Let me now go to our treasurer, Toastmaster Aman. Anything from your side?
Good evening, Mr. President. There is nothing to report from the Treasury side, but what I was thinking, since we are to start the new year, so there might be some work related to be done for the budgeting. I'll get in touch with with you on that respect going forward. But
thank you so much.
Today's meeting, there's nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer, Toastmaster Man. Thank you so much. That brings us to the top 4 members of the club. Our Vice President Public Relations is excused for today, but in her report, she requests 2 things. Number 1 is that we like and comment on the social media platforms that we have, that is on Instagram and Facebook, and we also have the YouTube channel. So let us, when the meeting posters are posted, let's like and comment, because you never know who will see the comment and attend as a guest. And it's always nice to spread the word of Toastmastering around. And in this virtual world of meetings, we get a chance to see guests from all over the world. That's number 1. Number 2 is that we will want to release a publication called a newsletter, and we are looking for a name. And I must thank our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Aisha, for contributing one. Let me see if my memory serves me right. Metamorphosize.
The metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. So that's the name that we have so far. So the Vice President of Public Relations has requested that the other members also contribute a name and a reason why. In my table topics workshop a little later today, I'll touch upon this a little bit more, because a lot of what we do here is active listening. In other words, we look at the world around us and then try to compress it into our communication skills. So that's from the Vice President of Public Relations. And now let me go to another person who's also performing a dual role today, Mr. Vice President Membership, Toastmaster Amir. Anything from your side, sir?
Good evening, Mr. President. Unfortunately, nothing new to update you with, but I would like to record my appreciation to the effort of Vice President of Public Relations for doing all the work related to social media, because it's helping my area. Okay. Also, the second thing I want to discuss about the award, Simedley Award that we received, the announcement about recruiting 5 members within this month. So I think it's challenging and we should work as a team to achieve that award. It's good for our club, and I think it will add value to our position. I think so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amir. I know one person who is really happy today and he's putting a thumbs up. Our District 20 Club Growth Director, DTM Khalid, is very happy when you have said 5 new members. And just to touch upon that, there are a few awards, membership awards that go during the year. One is called Beat the Clock. Another one is called Talk Up Toastmasters. And another one, the one that we are speaking about, is called the Smedley Award. And all of them are for adding 5 new members. With regard to BFP, I want to try something different. I want to make members say, we want to join you, rather than us going and saying, please join us. So when we look at our meeting experience, if we take a snapshot of this meeting experience, and if we are to say, this is our meeting, I believe that finance professionals would want to be part of this meeting experience. Because instead of selling the product, if we sell the result, you will be able to deliver a quarterly report, an investment analysis, investor pitch better than your peers. That will truly be a key selling point, a unique selling point for our fellow finance professionals. So I applaud our Vice President membership for that excogitating plan so that we can now move ahead to attract a few new members as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President membership, Toastmaster Amir, which then brings us, actually there are so many people playing dual roles today, which brings us to our Vice President Education, who is also the Toastmaster of the day today. Madam Aisha, anything to report from your side?
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, our focus is on encouraging the members to come forward. As you can see today, a lot of members have taken dual roles as well, which is a part of the ongoing education. That is the purpose of the BFP Toastmasters. And on another note, I want to reiterate the point I made in the previous meeting about the subcommittee, education subcommittee. I think I need to expedite the creation of one in order for like-minded individuals. I would also request members to take, I would like to use this opportunity and request members to take more active roles in their growth. And I would like people, for example, today in the agenda, you would see one icebreaker. I think given the number of our group, I would actively work on encouraging more people to come and do their icebreakers, as it is the first step in their Toastmasters journey. Nothing much more to report, Mr. President. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that in-depth report from our Vice President Education. Any other business from area, division, district? And before I go forward, let me recognize the presence of our District 20 Club Growth Director, DTM Khalid Jalal, and the Area 37 Director, our own mentor, Toastmaster Santosh Abraham. And also I'd like to say welcome to Toastmaster Swaroop, welcome to Icebreaker Speaker, Toastmaster Nihal, and welcome to Toastmaster Abir as well. We meet again. So welcome everyone. It's really nice to have you at our meeting. So do we have any news from the area, division, or district? I do know that the Toastmasters conference is coming up. If I'm not wrong, it's on the 23rd to the 28th of August. And there are 2 options available. There is a completely free option. And there is also a paid option, which is $25 for virtual attendance at every single workshop. I did for the first time attend it last year. Because I mean, face it, I don't have to go to the airport, fly to the US, stay in a hotel room, pay for the visa, get asked questions, none of that. So it was a good experience in terms of the workshops, in terms of the World Championship of Public Speaking, in terms of being able to interact with people from across the world as well. One thing that we figure out after a little while is that when you step out of the club, you are exposed to so much that is good and great about our movement. Our step number 1 is to make our club experience and club culture a strong one, and then branch out and spread our wings into the global and international arena so that we can meet with like-minded individuals as well. So in the absence of any other business, could someone propose to close the business session?
I propose to close the business session.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Amir. Can someone second that proposal?
I second the proposal.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Aisha. Our business session is closed. That's the first segment of our meeting, which has now finished, which is the internal workings of the club. Because one thing that we practice is whatever we do as an executive committee, we are a club of the members, by the members, for the members. So the purpose of this session is to inform the membership that this is how your executive committee is using our time and energy and effort. Which brings us to the second session, the exciting education session. This is where our speakers, our role players have excogitated and have come to deliver these performances for the mutual benefit of the audience as well. And the captain of this particular segment, the leading light, the star of this particular segment, the Toastmaster of the day, the master of ceremonies, will lead us through the second segment, the education segment. I'm proud to say that I have worked with her for the last 7 years, and I have seen her live this word, and that word is excellence. If you want a perfectionist, if you want someone who dots the I's, crosses the T's, looks at the minute detail, but never loses sight of the big picture, and where other people aim here, she never ever fails to always aim here. We are very, very fortunate to have this charismatic leader leading us as the Vice President of Education. And it's a great pleasure to welcome the Toastmaster of the day today, who is a chartered accountant, holding a Master's of Arts in English Literature, a seasoned finance professional, someone who has been guiding the future of the finance students of Bahrain. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fellow Toastmasters, please welcome your Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aisha Fazal. The screen is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and our distinguished guest for the evening. A very good evening. I hope you can all hear me properly. It's my pleasure to be the Toastmaster of this evening today with the wonderful theme of a life without limits. Wouldn't you all wish that our lives were without limits and we were all the time feeling as light as a feather, as was depicted in our poster for this meeting? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be something that we aim for and aspire for? So this is the wonderful topic. This is a wonderful theme that has been chosen for our meeting number 4 today. And I hope that I do justice for it. I would like to walk you through the structure of today's meeting. If at any time I falter or I ramble, please excuse me, as this is my first attempt at the TMOD. Broadly speaking, we are left with 3 main areas in our meeting today. We will have an education session with 2 brilliant speeches, which will be followed by a table topic session, which my understanding is that it is an extended session today. Please correct me, Mr. President, if I am not correct. And of course, this will be then succeeded by the general evaluation. As you know, that our theme is a life without limits, and the word of the day is excogitate. I would encourage that we, wherever possible, we use the word, and wherever possible, we incorporate our theme in our discussion. When I think about a life without limits, I am strongly reminded by a gentleman who was born without arms or legs. His name is Nick Vujicic. He was a man born without arms or legs. He overcame this disability not just to live not just independently, but to also live a rich, fulfilling life. And he now is an internationally successful motivational speaker. His most important message is that it is very important for everybody to find a goal in life, to find a purpose in life. Of course, there will be difficulties. Of course, there will be seemingly impossible odds that stand in our way. The emotional battle and the physical disabilities, of course, would have impaired Nick's life, and many people in his situation would have probably given up, or probably would not have had such a positive outlook towards life. But here is an example how faith in God, positive thinking, and finding people who give him strength in life have allowed him to live a meaningful and fulfilling life, a life with no limits. Nick Vujicic says that I do believe my life has no limits. I want you to feel the same way about your life, no matter what your challenges may be. As we have our journey, please take a moment to think about any limitations that you have placed on your life. I want to stop here with the quote, and I would, as we go through the meeting, I would like all of you to think, aren't we the culprits of bringing the most limitations in our life? Think about the mental load of pending chores, or regrets of the past, or disappointments in your life, or anxiety at an uncertain future, overthinking, thinking about what will be the post-pandemic world life. So the first place we lose the battle is our own thinking. If you think it is permanent, it is permanent. If you think you've reached your limits, you have reached your limits. If you think you cannot, you will never do it. So you have to overcome this mental blockage. As we go along, of course, we will be coming back to our theme. I think it's time now to talk about the role players for today's evening. A request from my side as VP of this club would be for members to come on and participate more without the limitations, without the fear of failures, without excogitating too much, and come and take the dynamic roles in our future coming meetings. Our 4 role players today are the timer, the grammarian, the AH counter, the R counter, and the general evaluator. As we know, timing and punctuality are both hallmarks of both a well-structured meeting and a well-prepared speech. Our timer's role is to actually give us a reality check on whether we are in fact punctual and whether our timing is right to the core. Our timer today is TM Minam Aziz. He's a chartered accountant by profession, and he is working in the APM Terminals Bahrain as finance business partner. He confesses something which I can relate to personally as well. He confesses that he has an inability to say no to people, just like me. And often this gets him stuck in awkward situations as well. So he's working on it. TM Minam, I welcome you to take the floor, and please reiterate the timing criteria to the members this evening. The floor is yours, TM Minam.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as the timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. This will also help in ensuring that the meeting runs on time. To help me do this, I have 3 colored cue cards with me. I will raise the green card when the speaker qualifies the time, and I will hit the yellow card when the speaker hits the minimum time, and I will hit the red card when the speaker reaches the maximum time allotted for them. And a grace period of 30 seconds will be granted for each speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, TM Minam. Let's move to our next role player today, the role of the grammarian, the set of sharp ears that's closely going to monitor the use of language, elocution, articulation in our meeting today. Our grammarian will present us a report on his findings and will also introduce the word of the day. Our grammarian today is TM Amir Al-Musi. TM Amir is the head of finance and strategic planning at the AOFI. And fun fact about TM Amir, he's also a rated chess player. So maybe I should take some classes for chess because I'm really in the game. And Amir says about our theme today, life without limits. He says, life is like a chess game. The truth about it is you're playing against time. You're not playing against an opponent. And I really loved his profound way of thinking about life in this way, relating it to a game of chess. The floor is yours, TM Amiri. Please educate us about the role of the grammarian.
Madam Toastmaster of the Day, dear fellow Toastmaster, good evening. My responsibility today as a grammarian is to pay attention to the usage of language and the quality of using the terminology. So I will take note of your vocabulary and the expressions that you have in your speeches. Also, one of my duties is to introduce the day of the word of the day, which is exegetated as proposed by Toastmaster Aisha. Okay, she helped me a lot to choose that nice word. So I just would like, if you can enable me to share the screen. So our word of the day is exegetate. I always ask myself what this guy is doing. So I realized that he's exegetating. The word is a verb, which is a formal verb, and it means to think out, plan, or devise. It also has another meaning, is to study carefully in order to comprehend fully something. Example of this, the usage of the word, the scientist must stop to observe and start to exegetate. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Back to you.
Thank you very much, TM Amir. Our next role is the role of the R counter. Personally speaking, I also feel just like the grammarian, this role requires very active listening, very attentive listening. In order to be eloquent speakers, we must be mindful of our erms and ahs and, and like all the filler words. The R counter plays a vital role in showing us the mirror of how we pollute our speeches with the filler words. Today's R counter is TM Ali Hassan Al Sawad. TM Ali is currently working as an accountant and he is studying ACCA. His interests are all kinds of sports. So I think TM Ali is a very sporty person. And what he said was so beautiful. When I said, TM Ali, tell me something about yourself that I can use in the meeting, he said, sometimes I chase sunrises. And it's so profound. What a nice way to put it, because that makes the two of us, TM Ali. The floor is all yours now, TM Ali, to explain your role as an R counter to our members in the meeting today.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Madam Aisha, for warm welcome. I think you already said a big part about my role. So during this meeting, I am going to listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and, These are called pause fillers and are used in speeches. At the end of the day, I will be reporting the count of each words that are used. And later on, if you need the detailed report, if you are a speaker for today, I will be happy to share the detailed report. But as my report, general report would be an overall of the count of all the words that are used. So over to you, Madam Aisha.
Thank you very much, our counter, TM Ali, for explanation of your role today. This brings us to the fourth core role in our meeting, which is that of the general evaluator, very critical role. General evaluator's role is to monitor our whole meeting, suggest recommendations to improve the quality of the meeting. Our general evaluator today is none other than DTM Khalid Jalal, who perhaps needs no introduction. He joined Toastmasters in 2018, and he achieved his first Distinguished Toastmasters in 2020, which is just in 2 years. He's expecting to complete his second DTM shortly as well. I think we all can look up to him and probably seek some counseling from him on how to devise our own Toastmasters journey. His Toastmasters journey has made him experience various roles at different clubs, at area level and at division level. He's one of the fastest growing members of District 20, who was elected as the District 20 Club Growth Director for the term 2021 and 2022, just short of 3.5 years of him being a Toastmaster. I'm actually honored to introduce DTM Khalid as the General Evaluator. Please take up the floor, DTM Khalid, and explain to us your role today.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Asha, for the wonderful introduction. Honored to hear the introduction from you. My role as the General Evaluator is the simplest role in any Toastmasters meeting, because I need not prepare anything before coming to the meeting. I have to enjoy the entire meeting and say my comments, my feedback, and leave the meeting. My role as General Evaluator, if you're going to take this role in the future, should start actually before the meeting. Observe how the preparations are going on till the meeting starts, and ensure the meeting goes well. If there's anything, areas of improvement, we should highlight it. We are not here for fault finding, but we have to say what has gone in the right direction and what are the areas for further improvements. Of course, as a General Evaluator, I cannot do much unless I have 3 other role players. They help me a lot. So I say it is the simplest role to perform in any Toastmasters meeting. So I will be relying on our timer today, on his report. I'll also rely on our grammarian and our accountant. Based on the input of their report, I'll be giving my comments and inputs when I'm called upon. That's a simple role of the evaluator. Please attempt it in the next meetings. You'll enjoy it. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much for this very humble discussion. Your role is very important, DTM Khalid. Thank you very much for shedding some light on this. And with this, the introductory part of all our 4 core role players is over. Coming back to our theme about a life without limits, I think if I have to add 2 cents on that, I would say that, and perhaps you all can think about it yourselves and think whether you agree with it or not. Do we give ourselves the freedom to explore the possibility of a life without limits? As I said earlier, the mind is a prison. A lot of times we are limited not by other people, not by external factors, but by our own inability to have trust and faith in ourselves. So goals are very good for life. Goals are very important for our life. For example, I have to write a thesis for my final master's and I give myself 6 months for it. But should I be extremely hard on myself if I'm not able to finish it? So goals are your dreams with deadlines. It's a means to an end to have a fulfilling life, but in themselves, they're not an ultimate purpose of our life. So in order to live a life without limits, we must understand that we need to love ourselves, we need to respect ourselves, and we need to remember that a life without limits is something that is very achievable if only we believe. A very small example, a very important example, but I would of course keep it brief, is about somebody I heard about who was a cancer patient and final stage 4 terminal cancer that had spread in the body. And the doctor told the lady that she had 30 days to live. So instead, she had 2 options: either resign to her fate, wait for her death after the 30th day. Instead, what she did was she packed her bags and flew to the US to meet her family. Then she came back, flew to the pilgrimage to Saudi. And she said something that was very interesting. She said, if I believe I'm going to die, I would die. So this was in 2000 when she was told that she had 30 days to live, and she lived till 2009. Of course, This is just an example of the power of positive thinking, which is extremely important if you want to live a life without limits. So I would urge all our group members to be kinder to ourselves, to love ourselves, to believe in our ability, and to have the magic of positive thinking in order to be as limitless and as light as a feather as depicted in our poster. All right, let's move on to our education session. Mr. President, if you can confirm that we are on time and I can move now on to the education session.
We are good, Madam Vice President Education. We can.
All right, so let's move on to our education session. Personally speaking, this is my favorite because this is where I get to know, this is where I get to learn, this is where I get to know about people. And today we have two wonderful speeches lined up. The first one is an icebreaker. And the second one is by our very seasoned speaker, who's also a DTM and who's also our president of this wonderful club. So an icebreaker is the first step of this journey. I remember our DTM Hisham talking about the ship that breaks ice so the other ships can, set course. So an icebreaker is just that. Our first prepared speech today is an icebreaker. TM Nihal Akbar is attempting her icebreaker as the start of her pathway journey with BFP Toastmasters. Let's discuss TM Nihal. TM Nihal Akbar is an ACCA and she works as a senior accountant in Kelo. She's an ex-auditor at the BDO. And she's a person who can talk in her own words for hours and hours without a topic. So she does not need a topic to talk. She says that this is probably one of the main reasons why she joined the Toastmasters, to share her love of talking with the fellow Toastmasters. Something that's good in her own words about her is that she's a good listener. And she's been told that she's a good listener. And something that she wants to improve on is her impatience. She would want to improve on this quality through the BFP Toastmasters. A fun fact about TM Nihal is that she has an interesting, peculiar interest of watching serial killer documentaries. Something that I'm also equally interested in. So that makes the two of us. And this is, I think, the beauty of the BFP Toastmasters Club, bringing people together, even if the interest is serial killer documentaries. So when I found out more about TM Nihal, I thought I was looking in a mirror because a lot of our qualities were very similar. So I'm very excited that she's attempting her icebreaker. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Without any further ado, I want to give it up for TM Nihal, whose speech topic is In Pursuit of Happiness. So the floor is yours, TM Nihal.
Yes, hi, thank you so much, Aisha. I actually found my, can you hear me? Yeah, so I actually found my second sister, I would say, yesterday when I was talking to Aisha. So thank you for the introduction. So I guess I'll just stand for this one. Okay. So please don't consider that in the timer, please. Okay, so I'll start my speech now. Bold, courageous, smart, charming, talented are all words used to describe me by nobody. I am your typical small town girl. I was so average in both academics and sports that average could be my middle name. I knew that in order to be popular in school, you either had to be your teacher's pet or a class stud. My peers didn't even know my name, let alone being a favorite. Anyway, I was fine living my non-existent life until 6th grade. I went to India for vacations only to get jaundice. It hit me really hard, but I survived. With few modifications, of course. So my hair that was straight naturally turned curly. Not the luscious curls one would imagine, nasty curls that made me look like an alien from Predator's movie. Adding to my misery, my dad decided to get me glasses, Gandhi glasses. After 3 months of vacation, I felt like a new girl walking into the classroom for the very first time. From that day, I was no ordinary girl. I was Nehal, the noodle hair. This name I carried till the end of my schooling. I was bullied a lot because of this, to a point where I would just pull my hair and cry myself to sleep. How can this be my identity? There is so much more to me than this. My name means happiness, but I was the unhappiest person alive, or so I felt. It's just a harmless humor, people say. But how can it be harmless if it brings tears to one's eye? So I took it upon to myself to change this unwanted identity. I thought if I scored well in 10th grade, I would be able to give myself a new identity. I ranked 19th in the school. It was a big deal for me, because I never even ranked 19th in my classroom. My happiness, though, lasted for exactly a week. So now what? Life was exactly the same, no happiness. Then I thought, well, what if I straightened my hair? Voila, I had found an answer. In less than a year, I used straightening cream, straighteners, sprays, went to salons. I did everything. The result? My hair looked like twigs. Made things worse, in fact. So I shifted my focus to studies. I did reasonably well, but the feeling of emptiness, a feeling of wanting to be accepted never went away. So what do? I cut myself out from everyone I knew, including my friends, and pursued ACCA. By now, I had mastered the art of making disastrous decisions, leading me into the world of depression. I tried making new friends. By now, I realized that I was good at making friends, but horrible at making the friendship last. I was, in fact, a hijabi in 12th standard, so hair was no longer an issue. So, what was the problem? What should I do? My answer? Become an auditor. Life will be filled with joy and excitement. I don't know about that, but my body was filled with Panadol for headache and backaches. According to me, working was a way to keep me occupied from everything that happened around me. I was used to not partying, not going to New Year's, not wishing anyone on birthdays or being wished. I have physically and emotionally given up on the idea of happiness. After 1 year of working, I became closer to my colleagues. To my surprise, they actually became my friends to whom I would share my thoughts, secrets, everything. They loved me for who I was, but I was asked to change just one thing in me, which is my perspective of life. It's okay to be called noodle hair and laugh about it. It's okay to be not liked by everyone in the room. It's okay to fail as long as you learn to move on. I learned to be happy in my skin. I am currently working for Callo, a place that actually treats employees as humans and not machines. I have friends and colleagues that I would do anything for. I am trying to find happiness in moments and not occasions. I have learned to smile a little, breathe a little, and relax a little. Like they say, you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. I am finally doing justice to my name. I am Nehal, and I am happy. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, TM Nihal. Very nice to see you're happy in your life. And a lot of things said in the speech, I think all of our members can relate to the feeling of being too hard on ourselves, not liking our hair, not liking our nose, not trying too hard. But what stuck the chord with me was trying to be an auditor because you think that's going to solve everything. So a very interesting speech. a very interesting icebreaker. And what I loved about it was that it was very personal. The icebreaker speech in Pursuit of Happiness is going to be evaluated by another great Toastmaster Gangadhar Rao. And Toastmaster Gangadhar is not a new personality for the BFP Club. He's a seasoned IT professional who's working with KPMG. He's been living in Bahrain for the past 25 years. He is a self-proclaimed workaholic. He loves motorcycles. He loves riding the bikes, and he enjoys listening to great music. He enjoys socializing and social service. And we thank him to be the evaluator for TM Nihal's speech.
Madam Toastmaster of the Day,
Yes.
can we call the evaluators later on if the speech is finished? We have a
I thought,
section.
yeah. You mean the introduction is not necessary?
No, what I mean is the evaluators comes from the evaluation section.
Okay.
You call the evaluator before the speakers come.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
But you can go ahead. It's okay.
Thank you. All right, which brings us to our next speech. Our next speech is delivered by none other than our president, DTM Hisham Jifri, who's been a Toastmaster for 7 years. He's a lifelong fan of reading and books, and he appreciates the beauty of language, as is obvious from his articulate style of speaking. He's a teacher, he's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he's a coach. He's a person who I personally think is always available. So he's very reliable, like real estate. So when you need him, he's right there. He's currently a senior lecturer in the Banking Institute, which is one of the leading institutes in Bahrain, the BIBF, the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance. And he is very interested not only in teaching courses, but also mentoring students. I've personally have had the pleasure of working with DTM Hisham for, I don't know, how many years has it been, Mr. President? Maybe 7 years or 5 years. So I'm very happy to be the one to introduce him for his speech. DTM Hisham Jifri has chosen the path of presentation mastery. He's attempting level 3, connect with storytelling. And his title of the speech today is The Results, the Policeman, and the Red Bicycle. Very interesting. His speech is going to be evaluated by DTM Khalid Jalal, who is trying to correct my very novice, amateurish style of being the TM Toastmaster of the Day. DTM Khalid, introduction. He's going to be our general evaluator. Anything else that you would like to add, DTM Khalid?
If you allow me to read out the objective of the speaker before he speaks.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for the opportunity. Our speaker today, distinguished Toastmaster Hisham Jifri, is attempting the Path Presentation Mastery Level 3 Connect with Storytelling as an elective project. His project title is The Results, the Policeman, and the Red Bicycle. The Results, the Policeman, and the Red Bicycle. Distinguished Toastmaster Hisham Jifri, you have 5 to 7 minutes to complete your project. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, DTM Khalid Jalal, for your kind words. And I would like now to invite our next speaker, which is, as we said, our president, DTM Hisham Jifri. The floor is yours.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Go. Wake up, go back. Your results are go. See if you have a future. Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, good evening to you. This happened in February of 1998. For 3 whole months, I had been enjoying one of the best times of my life because I had just taken the first competitive exam in my life, and until the results were out, I could be relaxing and resting until, of course, the results were out. And who should announce these results but that very well-known examiner, my mother. Many people are woken up with breakfast and with coffee and with loving birds, but my mother decided to become a human alarm clock, wake me up and then send me on my way to check the results. Now, in those days, we did not have a mobile phone to pull out and then press Uber or Khari. So my mode of transport was my best friend. Now, my best friend had a very specific nickname, and his nickname was Double L. The reason we called him Double L was because he was lazy and he was always late. I left home and I went to my best friend's house, and surprise, surprise, as always, he was fast asleep. It took his mother 20 minutes to wake him up. It took me another 10 minutes to tell him that it was me and really me, and I had come to meet him. So he asked me, why have you come here? It's 3 months, why have you come here? So I said, it's out. Then put it back in. The results are out. Don't you want to see it? Okay, let's go. Now, in those days, just like we did not have the mobile phone, we did not also have transportation of our own of 4 wheels. But in those days in sunny Sri Lanka, the transportation mode that was popularly available to a 16-year-old student was comprising of 2 wheels. And our mode of transport was 100% red. Its tires were 50% full of air, and the brakes, the brakes were 100% broken. This was the mode of transport that me and my best friend rode on that sunny day to view the results that would decide our future. Now, on the way to school, we would reach a hill. And from the summit of that hill, when you look down the steep road, you would see the school that we had attended for the last 12 years. I had taken this road for so many years. And as we stood for a second, looking at the school on that fateful day, it looked like it had never looked before. Because possibly this journey would yield a result unlike any before. My friend put his foot on the pedal and started off down the hill, and that's when we saw him. At the foot of the hill, looking up at us, there was a man in a khaki uniform who had the head of a lion, the body of a rhinoceros, and the arms of a gorilla. He was a policeman. He started pedaling up the hill, and we started pedaling down the hill. And if you are a fan of Western movies, you would have seen this sign. This town is not big enough for the 2 of us. In the same spirit, this road was not wide enough for the both of us. We went down. He came up. We met in the middle. It's a titanic clash. As the dust settled and the eyes opened and the aches started to take effect, the policeman got up, walked up to me, and then did something surprising. He gave me a slap on the left side of my face, so hard that the beard grows very lightly even to this day. And then he told me something very surprising. You fool! Live a little before you die. It's not how fast you ride your bicycle, it's how well you ride your bicycle. A few minutes later, he went on his way and we went on our way. Pasted on that formerly white wall, on a dirty piece of paper, photocopied and pasted, were the results that would dictate the direction of our lives. As we excoriated what was in front of us, my friend had passed his exams, and I had also passed the exam. But the one thing that was buzzing in my head was the words of the policeman. It's not how fast you ride your bike, it's how well you ride your bike. On the 2nd of August 2021, I ask you this question. Are you in a race that is of speed, or are you in a race that is of excellence and of quality? If you answer that question, it will truly transform your outlook on life. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Well done, Mr. President. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech, and I think I'm speaking for the rest of the Toastmasters today, our fellow members and guests, that they enjoyed thoroughly your tone, your story about your mother waking you up every morning. The double L was my personal favorite, lazy and late. That probably defines me as well. The imagery of your speech, the clash like the Titanic, and most importantly, are you riding the bike very fast? Is that your objective? Or how well you are riding? Very well connected with our theme of the evening as well. Are we just driving around? Are we just riding our bicycles? Or are we also taking moments to look around us and enjoy the little things that we see around us? So I thoroughly enjoyed both the speeches. And if I'm not wrong, this brings us to the end of our education session, because we had 2 speeches planned for today. I would request the Mr. President and the evaluators if I can move on, or if there are any comments from their end at this point.
None, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. I believe we can move on to our table topic segment. I believe that's what's slated in next.
All right. So thank you, Mr. President, for this. As clearly stated in our agenda for the evening, our upcoming session is something which is very exciting. As opposed to the prepared speeches, this actually tests your wittiness, your presence of mind, your ability to excogitate on your feet. How well can you speak when you've just been given 2 minutes, and when you've just been given a topic and you are required to speak on that? This happens to us all the time in our personal lives and in our professional lives. Wouldn't you agree? And this is also how our life works. A lot of times you're in situations which are completely unexpected. You are slated to take flights that you never planned for, or you experience a meeting that you never thought you had to. Personally speaking, I have experienced this requirement to be on my feet and the ability to perform in unexpected situations as a constant theme in my life. This is perhaps one of the things that we have all experienced, and this is perhaps also the beauty of our life. So we are now going to request our Mr. President, DTM Hisham Jifri, who's our table topics master today, to take control of the evening. And I am positive that we're going to have wonderful and very exciting discussions in the table topics. So over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters, good evening to you. The objective of this presentation is to take the terror out of table topics. Just like the policeman stopped me and my friend and asked us this question: have you ever been stopped and asked a question, which was then followed by silence. And then 2 days later, you think, oh, now I have the perfect answer to that question. If that has happened to you, this session is specifically designed for you. Table topics is one of the most enjoyable experiences in a Toastmasters meeting. And let's try to unravel some of the tips and techniques that you can use to master table topics in order to deliver impromptu speeches at a Toastmasters meeting, and also be prepared to speak wherever, whenever, to whomever, on whatever. In other words, that will excoriate your impromptu speaking skills. Someone who is very famous, but for all the bad reasons, once gave this quote: everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Then, like a rat, they stop in fear and freeze. And this is someone I always like to listen to, because he says some of the most interesting things. And this is none other than the former world heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson, who was known as the baddest man on the planet in the early 90s. And this tends to happen to us. If we are unprepared, if we are mentally not ready to speak, then the light of your conversation may not light up the rooms that you're in. So how does this apply to you and me? You can say, I'm always prepared. I'm always in a situation where I'm given time to speak. Now, there may be presentations that you are ready for, but opportunities are like apples. If you remember, the apple that fell on Isaac Newton's head was the spark plug that led him to think about gravity. So how would you respond to the apples that would fall on your head? You may not be in a boxing match with physical punches, but life may throw many verbal punches at you. And your ability to respond and react, honed through table topics, will allow you to excel in your personal and professional life. For example, you're at an interview and the interviewer asks you, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? If you have been a Toastmaster, chances are you would have had this topic in a meeting and you are able to respond. Even if not, you're able to craft a response. You're at your year-end appraisal that look forward to time of every professional year. And your boss tells you, we are not promoting you, but we are giving you something more, a bonus, which is called extra responsibilities without the weight of an extra salary. How do you respond? You are at Lulu and someone asks you, excuse me, are the cabbages on discount today? It has happened to me so many times and I don't know the reason why. How do you respond? You are at Sharaf DG and someone asks you, is the iPhone that is sold at Giant cheaper? How do you respond? You're daydreaming at a conference and then the speaker asks you, you have an interesting expression on your face. Would you like to contribute to the room? How do you respond? Impromptu comes from the Latin word to be in readiness. It means to deliver without rehearsing. The 1999 world champion of public speaking, when he had won the world championship and he was coming back to his hometown in Baltimore, he was holding the plastic trophy. And when he was walking out of the immigration, an old lady walked up to him and said, are you somebody famous? Are you Denzel Washington? Craig Valentine said, no, I'm the world champion of public speaking. So then the lady said, okay, if you're the world champion of public speaking, say something. And Craig Valentine said, I realized that the secret to speaking is not to get ready to speak, but to stay ready to speak. And that is the essence of table topics. Now, how do you structure a table topics commentary? I want to share with you a simple model that was shared with me many years ago by a gentleman called Anil Menon. And this prep model starts with the letter P, of course, which is your position. So if someone asks you, what is the time right now? Your position would be this, or your position would be this. So what's your position right now? What are you thinking right now? What is your feeling? What does your heart tell you about the topic right now? R stands for the reason you feel that way. You say it's 7:30 because the time on the clock is 7:30. Is there an example, a story, a quote, an article, an internet search, a discussion over coffee that you can bring into it to make that interesting? You could say the time now is 8:10. And 24 hours ago at 8:10, I was having the best dinner I have ever had in this COVID-19 pandemic time period. Would you like to hear more about it? So even something as simple as telling the time can be made more interesting. And then you reiterate by repeating your position. This is a simple model with which you can respond to an impromptu question. What do you feel? Why do you feel that way? You add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of masala, a little bit of additional ingredients to make it special, unique, memorable. You put your own spin on it, and then you say, that's how the time becomes 8:12 on the 2nd of August, 2021. The purpose of communication is to evoke emotion. So every time you communicate, you paint a picture that is far greater than anything else. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So make that impression count. This method, as I mentioned, was taught to me by one of my older mentors, distinguished Toastmaster Anil Menon. So a little bit more detail of the prep model. I agree or I disagree. Is today's temperature very hot? You might agree, you might disagree. Or you might say, my thinking on the temperature is it is something really important. Or my thinking is temperature does not matter. What matters is the temperature of your air conditioning. My feeling on this topic is, and then you go on to mention the reason why you feel that way. Although it is summer in Bahrain, we get out of the AC house, into the AC car and into the AC office. So why does the thermometer matter? The reason you say it. I say this as a result of what influenced me to think this way is a book that I read, a text that I received, something that I drank in the morning, the reason that I say this. And then you give them an example. I don't feel the heat because I come from Sri Lanka, which is a tropical country, which is hot anyway. Abraham Lincoln once said, or in the December issue of The Economist magazine, an example that solidifies your argument, and then you repeat, this is why I say the heat really doesn't matter to me, or this is why I say the heat is something really important that you should consider. The prep model: position, reason, example, and then position again. Now, how do you know a car is good to drive? Any guesses? How do you know that a Mercedes or a BMW or a Volvo, I see our counter is doing this, and that's a great use of physical gestures. You would take it for a test drive. You get into the car, you start it up, and you take it for a test drive. So let's test out this theory, shall we? So let's try a sample topic. So before you get into table topics, take a deep breath, collect your thoughts, calm yourself, and let's actively listen to the topic that's going to come to us. And the topic, it's a very difficult one. It's very tricky. Do you like to eat chocolate or apples? Don't respond immediately. Remember the prep model: position, reason, example, position. So for this question, what is your position? It might be chocolate, it might be apple. Why do you say it in that way? Because apples are healthy, because chocolates are tasty. And the reason you say that is from the time I was 5 years old, I loved the taste of apples and the way it gushes in my mouth. Or from the time I first discovered chocolates, removing that wrapper, removing it and breaking it, and when it goes, and then putting that in my mouth, it gives me such a wonderful experience. And then you explain your position again. This is why I say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. This is why I say the chocolate is the best medicine that you can have. Position, reason, example, and position. So using the PrEP model, I agree or disagree. This is because this makes me feel, this makes me think, this makes me do. An example, which is a personal story. And the reason I picked my project speech was so that I can connect it to this topic, storytelling, and that too personal storytelling is the most powerful tool you could have in public speaking. Whether you're teaching, training, mentoring, coaching, presenting, whichever what you are doing, a personal story is an original of one because it comes from you, and that melted in to the table topic gives you a signature commentary. And then you end by reiterating your position. A simple model, a repeatable model, an actionable model that you can use to answer any table topic in a Toastmasters meeting. And then, of course, any topic that might be thrown to you in the real world. For example, you're in a hurry to get to a meeting, you run a red light, and then you are stopped by a policeman who asks you, didn't you see the light was red? It's a question. How do you respond? So table topics is probably the most practical, realistic, applicable skill that we would get from a Toastmasters environment. But remember, if you do what everyone does, you will get what everyone gets. If you want to have something that you never had, you have to be willing to do something that you never did. So as in table topics and in speeches, you must add a twist of your own that makes your presentation memorable. So how can you twist this topic that we just spoke about, apples and chocolates, to present it in a way which is novel and believable? Be unique, be creative, be different. But how? You can answer the topic by saying, why do you want to separate this? You have the apple, you cover it with chocolate, so it's the best of both worlds. It's healthy, it's tasty, chocolate-covered apples are the way to go. So think out of the box. Look at a way in which you can present it in a way that it has not been done before, which will go in the minds of the audience. Now you know the model. You've applied it once. Let's try a second sample topic. So again, take a deep breath, collect your thoughts, bring yourself to the point where you're now actively listening for the table topic. Topic number 2. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. It's a quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. So let's apply the PrEP model. Position, reason, example, position. With regard to your position, you might agree, you might disagree. The reason you say that might be from personal experience. It might be because you have read something that's different. It might be a research paper that you have seen. It might be something that was told to you by a mentor. It might be something that you saw in a Toastmasters speech. It might be the subject of your MBA dissertation. That's the reason you say it. You give an example of how it applies to your personal life, and then you reiterate and say, this is the reason why I agree or why I disagree with this particular topic. So the prep model is applicable to simple topics, complex topics, technical topics, emotional topics, everyday topics, whichever it may be. Position, I agree or disagree. Reason, this is because. Example, from your personal experience. And position, therefore, this is why I agree or disagree. Now, around this time in any presentation, when the presenter has been speaking and talking and presenting for a little while, it becomes a little tricky because we want to see the results of what we have done. So I'd like to ask for 2 volunteers, and generally when we do table topics, the privilege of answering a table topic goes to someone who has not been assigned a role. So let me go through our role. We have Toastmaster Swaroop and we have Toastmaster Jafar. Gentlemen, would you like to take up a table topic? Toastmaster Swaroop, may I ask you for the first table topic? Is that all right?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Fabulous, fabulous. So once more, I will display the topic on the screen. You have 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 to 2 minutes, right? You will see the timer screen lighting up. Deep breath, collect your thoughts, be ready to receive the table topic. And your topic is, just give me a second, let me come back here. So give it up for Toastmaster Swaroop. Toastmaster Swaroop, your topic is, money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. Toastmaster Swaroop, you have 1 to 2 minutes.
I disagree to this. Okay, I'll just stop. I disagree to this quote because I don't believe money is root to all the evil. Because evil is evil just is not originated just by money. It can be originated by any other means as well. So in my personal experience, I've seen many movies or many examples where it's just not money that is not I mean which is not an originator of evil. So yeah, I disagree to this.
Thank you for that, Toastmaster Swaroop. So very clearly he mentioned his position right out of the bat. I disagree. And then he mentioned the reason, and he very specifically said the reason why I say this is this. What you could do to improve it is you touched upon something. You said, I have many examples. You showed us the chocolate and then you took it away. So where you take it further is by you say, one of those examples, it happened to me just yesterday. Or one of these examples happened to me 25 years ago, but it's still relevant today. And then you come back and say, see, this is why I disagree with the statement, money is the root of all evil. Nicely done. Thank you so much. Volunteer number 1. Very well done. Toastmaster Jafar, second topic, may I give it to you? Ready?
Yes.
Fabulous, fabulous. I like that. A man who is excoriated and ready to go. Toastmaster Jafar, big hand for our second table topics volunteer. Toastmaster Jafar, your topic is, and of course, before we go there, deep breath, collect your thoughts, get into the place where you're ready to receive the table topic. And here we go. Toastmaster Jafar, your topic is, the internet is a useful tool if it is used usefully. The internet is a useful tool if it is used usefully. Toastmaster Jafar, the screen is yours, sir.
Well, I really agree with this says because
we can see many examples that internet have many way of getting information. For example, using it in a proper way and making an internet useful tool is looking for anything in YouTube, for example, any topic that you are looking for, you would like to learn about it, you can look in YouTube by just searching in YouTube, typing whatever you are looking for, you will find someone speaking about it. And definitely you would learn, even for example, if you didn't learn 100% from that video, you would learn at least 1% from this video, and you will get even a small information from that video. That's why I'm agreeing with this says, and why the internet is useful tool.
That is fantastic. That is fabulous. And you know what I really liked about it? The pace of delivery was just perfect. It was thoughtful and you did not rush into it. You said, I completely agree. And this is the reason why. Very well done, Toastmaster Jafar. Very proud of you. Amazingly well done. We have one more topic. We have one more topic, and this topic goes to our treasurer, Toastmaster Aman. So once more, deep breath, collect your thoughts, get into that place where you're ready to receive the table topic. Toastmaster Aman, your topic is the person who is a friend to many is an enemy to themselves. The person who is a friend to many is an enemy to themselves. Toastmaster Aman, the screen is yours.
It's a very good statement. A person who is friend to many is an enemy to himself. I agree with the statement. Keeping a friend circle is very important in any person's life. You have different friend circle. You have friend circle at your relatives. You have friend circle at office. You have friend circle at your educational institution. And many times what people tend to do is they try to give the best of themselves to everyone. If I have a friend circle at my office, what I would try to do, I would try to be attentive to them. I would try to give
I think we may have lost our treasurer. So he has left us in suspense. Another great tactic that is used by all public speakers. So he has left us hanging, waiting for his next words. And that was very well done. So thank you, big thank you to our three volunteers. Oh, there he's back.
No, I think there was an internet connection. So I was at, where was it? Yeah, let me just recollect. Yeah, I was discussing that what we tend to do is we tend to allocate our time, our own luxury to the people we call friends. And what it would do to us is we are trying to be attentive to them, we try to listen to them, and we leave ourselves with very little time. Me, as for example, I have friend circle at office, I have friend circle at home, I have friend circle with my relatives. So what I do at the end of the day, I have very little time for myself. I'm not able to follow my own hobbies. I'm not able to give maybe more proper time or have me time, as we call it. So friendship is good. It keeps you connected. It keeps your social life alive. And as we say, that a man is known by the company he keeps, but a company should be limited. You should always be wary of yourself. You should try to give priority yourself, because you are your own priority. And this is my answer to the question, to the topic.
And a very, very great answer to position, reason, example, and something that I really, really like, a quotation. Right? So that shows that the man is the master of words. And that was really, really well done. So when we don't have a role, when we don't have a speaking role or an evaluator role or a timer, grammarian, or counter role, then you will get a table topic. So always be prepared to receive that table topic and be ready to speak. Big round of applause for our 3 volunteers. We are a little ahead of time. We should be finishing this session by 8:35, which I will definitely do. But we have time for 2 more volunteers. Let us move ahead. Let us move on. I want to share this quote with you. It usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. And this comes from no less a person than Mark Twain, the American humorist, novelist, journalist, and lecturer. And this is the difficulty of crafting great humorous speeches. Attention-grabbing opening, personal story, powerful conclusion. And I've mentioned this to you, don't get ready to speak, stay ready to speak. Craig Ballantyne, the 1999 world champion of public speaking. Right? Another famous quote is, you may not have the answer to every question, but you definitely have an answer to every question. And if you're in the business that I am in, and if you're in the business that Toastmaster Aisha is in, you have to have an answer to every question, because every day you will be asked questions. So that famous person is me. Impromptu speaking is a skill. Repetition is the mother of all skill. So practice, practice, practice. In every meeting, wish and hope and pray that a table topic is given to you so that you can hone the knife of impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking is a mindset. So read, listen, converse, connect, interact, observe, so that you build that memory palace of experiences and expertise that you can deliver when called upon in an impromptu situation. Impromptu speaking is an attitude of confidence. So will you let the topic rock you, or will you rock that topic? We've spoken about these different topics, and I want to leave you with this quote, which is one of my absolute favorite quotes, which I end almost all of my presentations with. Life is 10% about what happens to you and 90% how you respond. You have a chance right now, a decision to make on how you would respond to an impromptu topic. And I hope that you will respond and you will use this opportunity to excoriate your skills on impromptu speaking. Thank you for listening to me. Good luck, and I wish you all the best. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, DTM Hisham Jeffrey, who is also our table topics master, taking the terror out of table topics. I found this to be one of the things that was so poetic in its title. And as soon as I saw the title of the presentation, I knew that the members today, our guests today, would actually benefit from the wisdom of such a seasoned Toastmaster such as DTM Hisham Jeffrey. I found the presentation to be educative, very informative. Of course, the Mark Twain quote that you used was also a quote that I used in my own icebreaker. So impromptu speech is anything but that. There has to be a planned thought process that is in your mind and the confidence to stand in the occasion and speak from the heart. Wonderful topic table topic discussions by TM Aman, TM Swaroop, and TM Jafar. And of course, once again, thanks to DTM Hisham Jeffrey for educating us and for circulating such interesting and thought-provoking topics. Going back to our agenda of the evening, it's time for the general evaluation session, for which I would kindly request DTM Khalid Jalal to take the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. I've been waiting for this time, golden opportunity, so I can ask everyone to tell me their reports and I can just read them out again to you, just like another table topic. So I told you The role of the general evaluator is very simple, very nice. Please attempt it in the future. Before I proceed, can I ask anyone other than the president and the VPE, anyone else, can tell me what is the meeting number of today? Four. Okay, who didn't know the meeting number? Let's be honest. Who didn't know the meeting number? Okay, or our counter? Rest, everyone knew the meeting number, so that's very good. Means everyone is very focused. It's a number, and all of your finance professionals and you play with the numbers. So you should know the number 4 is the meeting number. As a general evaluator, my role, as I said earlier, starts before the meeting. So since I'm part of the club, I was also reviewing what was going on in the background, and I've seen a lot of great work was put to bring this meeting to this level. The artwork, the flyer which was sent and circulated to everyone much in advance, the role players, I know the VP Education, the Master of Ceremonies today, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Aisha, she was following up with everyone for the role players, and finally she was successful to put all the role players together. This is a great task for any Toastmaster of the Day. The most challenging role in a Toastmaster meeting is the Toastmaster of the Day, because he or she has to organize the entire meeting in terms of the agenda, in terms of getting the role players, in terms of convincing them, please come and attend the meeting. So please give it a huge round of applause. Great work you have done, Toastmaster Asha. It's the 4th meeting and really you're doing a great job. Success of any club depends on the members. If the members are dedicated, the club, the education, the quality will always be there. And please maintain that. The meeting started exactly on time. Our sergeant at arms, he came with a lot of energy and he started the meeting and he read the vision and the mission statement and he told where to be in terms of emergency. He told us to know our own house, what emergency exit is in which area. So next time I'll keep a map in front of me so I know how to run outside. Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Ali. And he asked a question, what is the meeting number? That's why I asked this question to you all. We should know the meeting number for a very simple reason. It's our club, it's our meeting. And it's very easy because we always get the agenda. We should read the agenda. And the first thing the agenda shows after the club name is the meeting number, right? And you pass the control to the president in a very smooth flow. The president took over. He welcomed all the members. He asked if the agenda is in order. Of course, the feedback was received. The agenda is in order, which is the right thing to do. And he gave his speech on 2nd of August, which is relevant to 2nd of August. What happened on 2nd of August? Anyone still remember his speech?
Invasion
Of
Kuwait. Invasion of Kuwait.
Invasion of Kuwait. And he was giving an example of what happened on that time. Slight thing, Mr. President, though we enjoyed your presentation, your speech, but the theme was slightly different in my observation, and you had a slightly different speech. Usually we say it should match with the theme. So at the end of the speech, if you have slightly twisted it, that would have been much, much better. Fellow members, when a president or any speaker, he completes the speech, or when he called to come and take the stage, what do? We applause, we encourage the person, right? At the start and even at the end. So what I found was that appreciation or the applauses were missing. The president ended the speech and he waited for a second. There was no applause. Of course, he knew what to do. He just proceeded, right? We should always applaud, because tomorrow, if you have any guest who comes in our meeting, he may get a different impression that we are not happy with the president. Are we not happy with the president? You're all happy, right? So what's wrong? So let's give you applause once again because we missed it earlier. Timer is counting. Video stuck.
Yeah. ETM Khalid, we are just double L. Lazy and late.
Now video is back. I'll talk about double L also. Then the most important and the most boring and the most crucial segment, the business session. If you go to other meetings, they say we don't want the business session in the beginning. And manager evaluators, they say please move it to other. Toastmaster Santosh Abraham and Toastmaster Gangadhar Rao, they can tell you a lot of stories about why we have the business session in different segment in our agenda, but it was managed very well. Though it's a new club, there's nothing much to be addressed. Sajid and Am just clearly mentioned there's no more updates from his side. At least he mentioned there's no updates. That's something we need to mention rather than just keeping quiet. Coming to VPPR, though she was not there, the president explained the entire role and all the great work done. And the message from VPPR was read out that we should go and comment and link on the social media. So do not forget that. Comment and link and tag the social media. And name of the magazine, who has not given a name yet?
Only I have given a name, DTM Khalid.
That's right.
Only one. Rest, please, a reminder for you. Please reach out to VPPR and give the name. We spoke about this Smiley Award and the other awards. We missed our VPM for your information. There are a lot of Club Growth Director Award already published in the social media. Please go and also access it. It was also sent by email to everyone's email, by the way. I hope you have received it. If not, please check your junk email. The members who sponsor member will also get award. If a club sponsors the different awards, we have area directors in this room. If the area brings number of members or start a new club, they also have awards. So we have awards at different levels. Please look into it and benefit from those awards. And I really enjoyed the parliamentary procedure which was followed to start the business session and end the business session. This is something which very seasoned club, they forget. They start the business session, they do not close the business session, and they jump to the other section, but you all have done it in a nice order. Toastmaster of the day was introduced by the president. She came with a lot of energy. Definitely, we see you, Toastmaster Asha, you come with a lot of energy, a lot of vocabulary. In every meeting I've attended, you always come with a lot of vocabulary, a lot of good quotes, a lot of knowledge we learn from you whenever we attend the meeting with you. So continue, please doing that. We all want to learn a lot, especially the word of the day. I think it was a bit difficult to pronounce by so many people, especially like me. So I'm not going to attempt that today. Life has no limit, and you really engraved it for all of us. Life has no limit. Usually we always say life something else, but life has no limit, and you gave very good example from a physically disabled person, Nick Nagicek or Nagichek. Okay. And you also brought example of a cancer patient. So if I believe I die, I will die. Right? And these are basically good examples, motivational thing which you are also sharing with us. So continue doing that. That makes the entire meeting interesting to listen to the Toastmaster of the day. Few things as a Toastmaster of the day, I know it was your first attempt. When we invite a speaker, before the speaker, we just follow the agenda, right? The agenda on the other side is the evaluator. You call the evaluator, he reads out the objective, and then pass the control to you. You introduce the speaker will speak. And same thing happened to the next speaker. And I really like the way you conducted your role very professionally. You went ahead and collected the introduction of each and every role player and the speaker. Of course, you have contacted me also. And that shows that you're really professional and you really focus on your role. It's not like you're just, writing the introduction by yourself. Many people get offended because it's not the right wording, not the right introduction, or something is not appropriate for them. They'll be annoyed. So we have done a very great job. And another advice for you as Toastmaster of the Day in the future, if you want to know how much time is left, it's not the president you ask, it's the timer. Because timer is he's having the entire control of this meeting in terms of the time. If we are crossing the time, he will alarm us that we are running out of the time. Can we extend the time or not? That will become his duty. We explain all those. And before calling the table topic master, you actually given a background, which is very good because people know now is a time of table topic session, turn off the camera and run away for a coffee break. Am I right, Mr. President? We have seen this in many meetings, by the way, especially when we have new guests in the physical meetings. I've seen them just walking out of the room. Speakers, they have delivered their speeches, and table topic master, you have done a great job. You have explained the entire session, what table topic is. It was just like a workshop, according to me. You explain what table topic is, you have given examples, you ask the speakers to come forward and attempt it. You made it very simple, and it's like encouraging for all of them. So very well done. And what I really liked about your introduction is you gave a reference of from where you learned the techniques of table topics. Distinguished Toastmaster Menon. Dilip Menon? Dilip Menon. So
Anil Menon.
Anil Menon. So you give a reference, so we always give reference to from wherever we collect the information. Excellent, done. Now it's time to listen to our timer. Like I said, my role is very simple. I ask everyone else to help me. So I'll ask our timer to let me know how much time taken by the first speaker and the second speaker.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can share the screen. So evaluators, please note the time before I call you. One is myself, by the way. Okay.
So our first speaker was TM Nihal. She completed her speech in 5 minutes and 35 seconds. At 4 minutes, she was telling us about the auditor phase of her life. At 5 minutes, she told us it is okay to fail. And at 5 minutes and 35 seconds, she concluded her speech. So she has qualified. The next prepared speaker was DTM Hisham. His time was from 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, he told us about how he fell from the bike. At 6 minutes, he told us what lesson he got from the policeman. And at 7 minutes and 20 seconds, he concluded his speech. So he is also qualified.
So looking at your, everyone is qualified.
Yes. And in table topics, TM Swaroop barely touched the 1 minute mark. And then TM Jafar and TM Aman also qualified.
Thank you very much. This is what I liked in this meeting, the quality of the members and the role players. Timer tells you at what time what was happening. Usually we say the speaker has taken 5 minutes, 35 minutes, 35 seconds, or 7 minutes, 20 seconds, but we don't focus on which time what the person was. This is a very good technique you have adopted here. Excellent. Now, may I invite our first evaluator, Toastmaster Gangadhar Rao, to evaluation of Toastmaster Nihal Akbar. For your information, Nihal Akbar is, her name right now is Zaid Akbar.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Yeah, it's also okay. Just want to inform him that you are there.
Sorry, DTM Khalid. I think somebody is microphone needs to be muted. I can hear a lot of feedback noise.
President, can you mute Toastmaster Manisha? Toastmaster Manisha to be muted. Yeah, thank you very much. Toastmaster Gangadhara, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I am Nihal. I am happy. I can end my evaluation with that. That is enough to say everything about it. Respected President, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, a very good evening to you all. Such an apt speech reflecting our theme of the title of the speech, In Pursuit of Happiness. The speaker has started about her personality very well, saying, I am bold, smart, and ready to take challenges. Immediately the mood changed. She says, I am an average in the school. Nobody knows my name. It is so much a contradicting personality she could reflect in her speech. At the same time, the way we can see the whole picture, how she excogitated her way in pursuit of happiness. The whole path was shown for that purpose. And the most important thing, I am looking at audience many times than the speaker. There was a smile on the face of audiences most of the time, which is a great indication of a speech for a person who is delivering icebreaker and bring that smile on the face of audience. Body language, absolutely, she is doing like a pro. There is no doubt in that. Facing of audiences, vocal variety is excellent. Clarity, three things I like always in every speech is the clarity, comfort, and interest. I can feel all the 3 points in her speech. She is very clear about it. The only 2 areas which I would like to highlight some recommendations for her to deliver her speech. One is looking at the camera. I found that she is looking randomly here and there. Either it could be looking at the script or looking at somewhere on the top. So the random looks will you lose the audience attention. You look into camera. It's irrespective of what is this thing. So that will give you a better attention. I'm losing that connection sometimes when you are looking randomly here and there. And the time, the best part of Toastmaster is nobody gives us time to speak. Toastmaster gives time. 7 minutes. You almost left with 1.5 minutes to deliver the complete speech. I know it is an icebreaker, but that could be filled up with a very beautiful examples and more stories in your speech, which could fill up that gap. And at the end, excellent speech, body language, vocal variety, a great speech with all the indications. Excellent humor in the speech, that is also a great thing. Adding these 2-3 recommendations, your speech can grow to a great level. The best way I like is the closing of your speech. I am Nihal, I am happy. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
She is Nihal and we are all happy. Now it's time to call myself as the evaluator. Where is my speaker? Distinguished Toastmaster Hisham Jifri, are you there? Distinguished Toastmaster Hisham Jifri, you have attempted your speech, which is about the storytelling, telling a story in your speech, or a speech which is a story. If I have to evaluate you, I will say like this. If any speech will listen and you can make some kind of stories, jokes, and if it is in our mind for at least till end of the meeting, is a good speech. If it is in our mind till the next meeting, it's a very good speech. And if it is in our mind for a month, it is the best speech. Because that's how we remember the good words. Toastmaster Hisham, we heard your personal story. It has started with an incident of yourself way back in February 1998. And that incident has taught you a lesson which you still remember and you pass it to all of us. That incident had a lot of fun and memories and lesson. Fun because you enjoyed the whole day traveling from your home to your friend, waking up till the hill and the bicycle. Humor, colliding with a policeman who is in khaki uniform, falling down, seeing stars, the dust, and of course, getting the beautiful, strong slap on your face. The mark still you feel. And the way you explained the slap, I really felt that it was very strong. You brought humor in your speech, you brought lesson in your speech, which is very good because with the humor, with the lesson, right pauses, and you created the entire scene. We could visualize that yes, there is a bicycle. Yes, your mom is waking you up. Yes, you are at the top of the hill, you're looking down to your school, and you also the narrow, the hand gesture. We know that the place is very much narrow, and you're going down, and that's how you collide. And we had the feeling that you're going to collide. Fun, lesson, humor, full, excellent. What I would recommend is add a little bit extra drama because when you mentioned the police slapped you, and I really felt the slap, but it was not that strong that the beard are not growing anymore. If you have really acted a little bit more with some extra pain, I think that pain which you feel, we might have enjoyed more. So I'm sure you want us to enjoy more even if you are in pain. So please do that. When you say lazy and late, you didn't act it just like you said lazy and late. Yes, okay, two things. Of course, everyone still remembers it, but you could have enacted that laziness. Overall, great speech. We all enjoyed it. You have humor, you have a lesson. Just add those extra drama and your speech will be excellent. Thank you, and back to myself. Now, before I go and ask the time taken by both evaluators, can I ask our grammarian to give his report?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I really enjoyed the speeches that has been presented today. It had a lot of expressions, metaphor, and variety of vocabulary. I just want to share the screen to show my reports, if you can allow me.
Mr. President, yes.
Okay. The word of the day has been used 7 times, 4 times by Toastmaster Hisham Jeffrey, 2 times by Toastmaster Aisha, and 1 time by Toastmaster Gaginder. The use of language has a lot of expression and good vocabulary. Bloom of black smoke embedded in my head, cornerstone of my memories. Just I listed some of them. I have like more than 7 pages. Just I want to share it with you quickly. Without arms and legs, emotional battle, human alarm clock, race of speed, race of quality, okay. Opportunities are like apples, in perpetual question, evoke emotions. A man is a master of the world. Reputation is the mother of every skill. Contradicting personality. So the speakers have shown good use of language and the vocabulary and expressions. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Didn't I say the role of the general evaluator is the simplest role? I have not written that much notes which our grammarian has written today. Excellent. Please give a huge round of applause. Excellent job. Now, in the interest of time, let's proceed with faster. Can I ask our accountant to share his report? Toastmaster Ali.
Yes, thank you, DTM Khalid Jalal. So if I can share my screen quickly, just to share a small schedule for our own benefit. Unfortunately, I don't have the report of the last meeting so that I can compare if we are growing or not. But going forward, hopefully we can track our usage of all these words in terms of keeping all the records of all the meetings. In this meeting, we have used AH 21 times, was used 21 times, which is a coincidence. Was used 45 times, which is the most common used phrase. Well was used 4 times. Repeats like okay, okay, and, etc. was used 20 times. Other stuff like and etc. was used 4 times. So in a nutshell, this is the overall report. If you want detailed report for each speaker, please speak with me privately. Thank you, and over to you.
I'll send you a WhatsApp message. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali. A timer, since we have a voting, I think at the end, yes, voting. Can you let us know how much time taken by the grammarian and the accountant? And the evaluators.
So evaluator TM Gangadhar took 3 minutes and 20 seconds. At 2 minutes, he gave the feedback to Nihal that the audience was smiling on her. And at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he gave that random looks should be avoided. And then at 3 minutes, he gave the feedback that more stories could be added. And at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, he concluded his evaluation. And DTM Khalid Jalal, he finished at 3 minutes and 23 seconds. At 2 minutes, he told us about that the speech contained humor and lesson. And at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the speech contained fun lesson. And at 3 minutes, he gave the feedback that more drama could be added in the speech. So both have qualified.
Thank you very much. Everyone is qualified. A lot of awards to be taken out today. This is over. Now, just one thing which I want to highlight as well for Toastmaster of the day, when you call the speaker, the final recommendation, whoever is the Toastmaster of the day in the future as well, when you call any speaker, please ask the speaker to pin the timer.
Hello.
Hello. So please ask them to pin the timer. Now the reason is because if you have not pinned the timer, you will not see the timer in front of you and you may go extra time, right? So that will be very helpful. Overall, the meeting was excellent. We enjoyed. It's a really quality meeting. Everyone performed their best. I don't know why Toastmaster Santosh Abraham was quiet today. It's usually not normal. So I'll ask him to say something later on. In the interest of time, I conclude my role and pass the control back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, DTM Khalid. And I want to take this opportunity and thank everybody for participating in the meeting today. I'm also going to keep it short. We have a few items left on the agenda. So may I request that we now move on towards the voting session. And I believe Mr. President has the link ready. So Mr. President, if we can have the link, I can see it now. And may I request all the members to please vote using the link. I hope the link is visible to everybody and that we are done with the quick voting. So while everybody is voting, I hope that our session was able to bring some positivity in our style of thinking. And I was reading a very interesting quote that I would like to share with everyone. Grace Hansen says, don't be afraid of when your life will end. Be afraid that it will never begin. And I think it's such a profound way of looking at our life. Instead of being scared of failures, we should think about taking challenges, doing our best, and then leaving it to our destiny. So I believe the voting session has finished. May I see some thumbs up on the screens if we are done with the voting? All right. And I would like to invite the president for the presentation of awards. DTM Hisham Jifri, if you are ready.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Madam Aisha. Big round of applause to our Toastmaster of the Day. Wonderfully well done. And I do understand the pressures of being a VPE and a TMOD. Thank you very much, but I'm sure that it was a transformational experience. I do need a couple of minutes to finish off the certificate. So in the meanwhile, let me ask our mentor, our Area 37 Director, Toastmaster Santosh Abraham, to grace us with a few words. Toastmaster Santosh, apologies for the sudden table topic. The screen is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. President and fellow members of the Bar and Finance Professionals Toastmasters Club. As your area director and your mentor, it's my pleasure, and I'm so happy that I could be in this meeting as an observer watching out. It's been a long time, like DTM Khalid had said, that I've sat in a meeting without speaking a word for a while. So I really wanted to really observe. I really enjoyed the whole meeting. And I can't just excogitate, as to how this club has moved up. I've never missed a meeting. I think I missed the first, I was there with the installation meeting. I never missed a meeting. In fact, I've seen the progress. And I think you should be attending other meetings to know how good you are. And I say that. I don't mean to say this to flatter you, but every member carries a quality and a content here in this club. I haven't seen the kind of timing grammarian account reports like this in many clubs. You should be proud of yourself. And every role that people take, they have really worked towards it. And in fact, you are showcasing great meetings. Now, what you are missing, if I should humbly request you to do, is to call up some guests to see how well you're doing. We need to call up, invite guests. Each one brings in 1 or 2 people every meeting, because see, I can see screens of 9 screens out here, including the mentors and sponsors. And for a club to be active and running, you need fresh blood. So please do the invitation, because what you're inviting them to see is something fabulous. All those speakers today, and Nihal was fabulous as an icebreaker speech. I enjoyed every minute of. She is just happy. She's bubbling with happiness, and every even, of course, DTM Hisham, I don't have to mention anything. Every role players have done a fabulous job here. And I think we need to work towards membership. Today, we have the Smedley Award coming up. I've already shared it, and DTM Khalid also shared it in the group. We need to really get that. And this club really needs that. We need members. And we need really members to come up, not just to add because this is a club with quality. So let's have some quantity to come and merge with the quality so that we have more quality adding up. So with that, I would like to pass the baton back to the president. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you again one more time.
Thank you so much for that inspirational address, our mentor, and also our Area 37 Director, Toastmaster Santosh Abraham. And these 3 gentlemen and 1 gentle lady, DTM Khalid, Toastmaster Santosh, Toastmaster Gangadhar, and Toastmaster Manisha are prime examples of giving back to the movement that has given so much back to them. So taking up as a sponsor, a mentor, area director, club growth director is a great example of the fire giving back warmth after fuel has been put. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for your everlasting support as well. So it's time for awarding and rewarding, another hallmark of Toastmasters events. Let me bring up, first of all, of course, for completing her icebreaker speech, hopefully the first of many, Toastmaster Nihal Akbar, this is for you. So very well done, the first of many, many speeches, and I hope you had fun, and I hope you have enjoyed your icebreaker speech. Which then brings us to the awarding
of the best table topics commentator, the best evaluator, and of course, the best speaker. We have joint winners for table topics today. Toastmaster Jafar, well done. I don't know whether he's still here. Very well done. It's your first time speaking at BFP. Fabulously well done. And then, of course, Toastmaster Aman, very well done. Beautifully delivered table topic. We have joint best table topics winners today. The best evaluator for today, Toastmaster Gangadhar Rao, our mentor. Thank you for that great evaluation and inspirational advice as well. The best speaker today, none other than our former auditor, Toastmaster Nihal Akbar. The first one, the best one, very well done, our best speaker for the day. That brings us to the end of our awarding and rewarding. Today is the 2nd of August. Can anybody guess when our next meeting is going to be?
After 2 weeks, second Monday.
That's right. That's right. So 16th of August is going to be our next meeting. And I have, let's see whether we can increase 2 things. The first one is the number of faces on the screen. Let's take it as a challenge to go on to the second page of Zoom. So let's try to make ourselves active on the group and encourage those who have not attended. I'm happy to have seen Toastmaster Jafar. Toastmaster Abir was here. So let's see if we can get all of the others here as well, because we are doing something fabulous and I'm sure that we can all benefit from it as well. We meet on the 16th of August. I want to have 2 more workshops, one on evaluation, one on humorous speaking, and then end up with a workshop on international speech as well, so that we are then covering slowly the entire universe of communication and leadership as well. Thank you for making it today, everybody. I really appreciate the work of the TMOD, the role players and speakers. The XCOM has been working very hard in the background to showcase these meetings and to present BFP as one of the crown jewels of District 20 Toastmasters. Thank you. Have a safe week. Good night and God bless you all. Meeting number 4 is adjourned.